everybody. So this is just gonna be the intro to the live that I had just posted. So again, as always, whenever I go live on TikTok, I try to make like a lot of videos without being on live, like as far as like actual information that I'm aware of or that I believe is going on, because like when it's on live it gets cut out really easily. So like you're gonna see in this video that I'm sharing, this is gonna be part one. This is where the first part of it is where basically like I explain what I think my family's doing, like the things that I'm really starting to coming to the conclusion of. Some based on full fact, some based on putting two and two together. I try to keep as much as I can fact-based as possible, but there were certain key things that were purposely blocked out and messed with of the live, so I'm going to make sure I definitely include them. One big one was Haiti. Okay, so my grandparents on my dad's side, Kay, Catherine, whatever the fuck you want to call her, and my grandfather, Richard, like I've said, guys, many times, based on a lot of things I've been finding, I'm starting to realize, and even based on the hospital situation, like everything that's been going on, like with my brother and all that, I believe that they traffic a lot more than, like, I don't know if like these groups they were involved with was like drugs or like whatever the case may be, whatever. I think they at least were involved with a lot more, not the groups, but like my family and whoever else, I don't know. Organ trafficking, probably people trafficking, like different things like that, in my opinion, based on what I've been finding. And what happened to me, I believe. So I believe I was a victim of that. But I specifically mentioned that, they work through these weird fucking church cult groups or whatever, and they, always act to be model citizens of the church and this and that, so they would go on Haiti trips. Now, mind you, like my sister also eventually got involved with the Haiti trips. And I remember specifically when she was going to Haiti, she set up a GoFundMe for her trip to help others, right? So she asked people for money, so she had money to spend on her little vacation, which was supposed to be about going there to build houses for the poor and stuff like that, okay? Which is just a front, guys. I'm learning. So my grandmother, for years and years and years, they'd always go there to Haiti every year to help the needy build houses and stuff. I don't believe that at all. Again, just like everything else that they do, they use good stuff as a front. Now, again, I think that has to do with trafficking and stuff like that. And again, if you think about it, guys, a lot of these poorer countries, unfortunately, and these Indonesian countries, like a bunch of these countries, if you notice, they're the ones that are like the biggest victims of this trafficking and all this other shit. And probably organ like God only knows, because they're not going to be looked for as much as people, unfortunately, as people here and stuff, I believe. And if you notice, like the things that like even my ex, Josh, that I think is heavily involved, with it, obviously, like I've shown proof that he's heavily involved with my family and what's been done even with my brother and stuff. Look at the post that I shared that he's shared about people in shipping containers and the culture they're from and stuff, like blatantly like putting it in people's face, making fun of it. So I'm really just starting to like put everything together, and I know I'm onto something because it was messed with as soon as I mentioned Haiti. Another thing too, though, on the other side of it, Haiti has a lot of like spiritualists, and some not so nice, or ones that may have been lied to, or whatever that I'm getting. And a lot of them practice like voodoo and this and that. Now, I'm starting to think that maybe like, because again, I'm a firm believer that everything can be reverted back. Not everything started off bad. So I'm thinking like too, like voodoo can be used for good. And I've seen like a lot of other videos and stuff like that where there are spiritualists there, especially in these foreign countries in Haiti and stuff, where they do like their culture, like they will practice voodoo in a good way, like to help heal people and stuff like that. So I'm starting to like look and like learn about stuff like that too. I don't think it's all bad, but I really think like I find it really funny how they would go there and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if maybe they would be hiring spiritualists there to send, because the things that they've sent me, guys, have been very powerful, very fucking strong. It wasn't just all of it wasn't just kitchen witch bullshit. I can tell you that right now from what I've felt and things like that. Almost took me out. But another thing too is she would always bring back these trinkets and these items from there for me as a gift. But you know what I've talked about with gifts, guys, and stuff like that. So I think a lot of them may have been hexed or cursed or whatever the case may be, in my opinion. I think that's very, very possible. We just rebuke that in the name of Jesus and take all its power away from it. But you know, I do have some of those. I keep them safe and, you know, locked away, and I'm hoping to secure them at some point somewhere. But, you know, I didn't think it was safe to just leave them out and about or wherever. You know, I just felt that I should hold on to those things. But whatever. But I just thought I would throw that stuff out there also, like, you know, especially with them, you know, I mentioned them, being at the Thousand Islands. A lot of that did come through, but basically, like, my point was, like, you can easily get across the border to Canada without detection or being searched. So again, like, there's just, like, a bunch of different things that I'm really starting to put together that I think could, like, indicate that I'm right. Based on even the other stuff that I've already found that were factual. You know, and again, you know, I discussed, you know, how other weird fucking people from my childhood, like from school and stuff that I'd never even thought about in my life after graduation, like, you know, I'm starting to realize how they all connect and why they all connect and why, you know, everything's just starting to really make sense to me, and I'm starting to gain a lot of insight on a lot of things, and, like, you know, why some of these people were reaching out to me for no reason, that haven't talked to me or cared about me ever, mind you, you know, right before all this started coming to light. You know, they tell them themselves, guys. So, but now I'm really starting to fully understand everything. But I just thought I would throw that stuff out there. Again, you know, I'm going to share the live now with you. This is part 1 of it. And then part 2, I'm going to go into my spiritual experience and my poem that I wrote and how that all connects and why I wrote it. So, enjoy what's on the live, what you can here. And again, I'm going to share the raw footage so you guys can see exactly how it's tampered with and what specific information is left out that tells on itself again, you know, what they're trying to keep from hearing. So, hey everybody. So I thought I would just hop on a live. I did not do it yesterday, I know. But there was a reason for it. I, you know, very selective with how I can charge my device now, so I have to keep it as charged as possible. So, you know, with uploading videos and going on lives and stuff like that, just really was not possible yesterday, so making up for it today. But, you know, I just wanted to hop on and give everybody an update. Again, as far as, like, physically, where I'm at, what I'm doing, you know, there really isn't too much to update at all. It's basically all the same, just waiting everything out. But I did, like, whether you guys want to believe this or not, God will communicate with you through your thoughts, through your intuition, through a bunch of different things. But I literally ask, like, every morning now, I'm like, spirit team, you know, if your ancestors, everybody, can you please make me aware of anything that I am unaware of that can assist me? You know, I say that every morning, so I suggest for everybody to do that. And damn, in my opinion, spirit's given me the tea. So now, not only that, but just in general, like, when you're able to sit back and not have all this shit going on around you, no distractions, and even the phone, like, even the phone being low battery a lot, I take that as a win, because I'm not doom scrolling, you know, I feel like a lot of people are guilty of that, and I'm not getting all my stuff from, like, outside, you know, outside of myself. And I feel like that really does help a lot. And I feel like, you know, Spirit wanted to teach me that as well. So again, there's always, you know, a reason for everything. It may look bad. It doesn't mean it is. So I've just been coming to so many different conclusions, not only by my intuition and putting two and two together, but by actual research and this and that. Like, damn, like the things that have been done that I can confirm, and the things that I'm almost nearly positive have been done that I will be confirming or probably already is being looked at, is crazy, guys. I mean, they hit me from every single angle of my life. But that's alright. It was all meant to happen this way. Like, I'm gonna be very selective with certain things that I know, or certain things that I have a strong feeling about, just because sometimes it's better they don't know your full hand. Let's just put it that way. But if you think I don't know, probably do. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But there was like a couple things that I did want to mention. You know, first of all, I was really hardcore thinking about my dad's side of the family, and I realized they go to the Thousand Islands, and if you're not aware of what that is, it's basically like a major like river with a bunch of different islands on it. It's in New York, but it's right by, and of course I say that and my network is unstable now all of a sudden, so I find that very funny. Anyways, besides that, basically we would go there every year. Now there's this guy named Roger Richards. I found out his last name or first name, whatever, is Richards. And it was a good friend of my grandparents, Kay, otherwise known as, I think, what is it, Catherine Love. And it was a good friend of my grandparents, Kay, otherwise known as, I think, what is it, Catherine Love. Yeah, I found your real name, sweetie. And Richard Love. They're my grandparents on my dad's side, and they're good friends with Roger, and I found out, I think his last name's Richards, through public search and records. So they would always be allowed to use their cottage up there, and we would take turns, like different families, like aunts and uncles and things, going up there, or we would all go together at certain times. But you know how, like, I mentioned that I do believe they're heavily involved in mob, especially considering like the neighbor that they had, and they literally said straight to me, because I remember, like, Joe, like, I was like, he's totally in the mob, he's in like the Italian mafia or whatever, which he was really cool. I didn't mind Joe. I don't think they're all bad, honestly, depending on like what they're involved with and this and that. I don't agree with a lot of shit, but and I personally think, I don't know, I'm gonna leave that to my own thoughts, but they literally, like, and they'll tell you things to your face, like said he was in the mafia and stuff like that, and they bought his house when he passed away, coincidentally, next door. So obviously, like I said, at least they're like my dad's side of the family. I think they were involved with trafficking a lot more now. But I think they were going over there, obviously, too, if you know, there's a lot of spiritualists over there that make hex items and stuff. Again, these are just, like, opinions and conclusions that I'm making. These are specifically, like, fully fact-based, so I just want to throw that out there. And this is a smear or anything like that, but this is... So, and again, this is to get this out there, too, to public service justice type shit, you know what I mean? So, I think that's what was going on, but that brings me to the Thousand Islands. So, the Thousand Islands, if you look, and they've said this over and over and over time, we've tubed into Canada, and this and that, it's right on the border. And when you're going into the Thousand Islands with your boat and everything on the cottage on the US side, you can easily boat over to Canada. And, like, I started thinking, I'm like, I wonder if that's how they're crossing borders. Have they gone boat trips on their own late at night and other things like that? Yes, 100%. So again, obviously, like, they're not gonna do it right in front of me. Have they gone boat trips on their own late at night and other things like that? Yes, 100%. So again, obviously, like, they're not gonna do it right in front of me. But I personally have not seen it firsthand, but I'm really wondering. Really, I just wanted to throw that out there. And then too, guys, like I said, there's just been a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I think I finally figured out, besides sports and stuff like that and different things, I think I'm starting to figure out why they're involved. Like I said, I don't this one girl, like Kaylee McMahon, attached to my mom's house on public record. Like, guys, there's so many fucking weird things. And again, there was like people that reached out to me like right before this all happened that I haven't talked to in years, that never gave a shit about me before, that just randomly, you know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. And there was people coming to my mind that I would never like think about for any other reason. And I think God puts those thoughts in your head for a reason. Yeah, this or that. So I'm just gonna put it that way. I do believe these things, though, are being looked at. And again, I'm doing my part in looking into everything. But there's just been, I'm just starting to realize, like, how this all connects. Why these things were happening to me and why these random fucking people are all involved and up in my business and my life. So it's starting to make a whole lot of sense, but business in my life. So it's starting to make a whole lot of sense, but damn, wow, like, there was a whole lot of shit I didn't know about. A lot of sense, but damn, wow, like, there was a whole lot of shit I didn't know about. Also, too, like, even with my workplaces, I remember specifically there was a couple different tax years where I barely got anything back, and it was really unusual, made no sense. Taxes for Wegmans, I was like, why did, like, it looked like they barely took a thing out. So, like, I don't know, there was just, like, a whole bunch of weird shit with that. Like, it looked like they barely took a thing out. So, like, I don't know, there was just, like, a whole bunch of weird shit with that. I think me and false, they're, like, false. And those things are just kind of, I would say, not fully fact-based, opinions yet. Okay, so they're not, I haven't been able to fully prove it yet, but there are definitely things that were very odd, that did not make sense, especially when it came to my taxes. And I remember that was even before all this started happening, well, that I was aware of. Like, a couple of years ago, I was like, what the fuck, like, why am I getting like nothing back on my taxes? And there was just so many weird things, guys. So like I said, there's so much that goes into all of this, but there was just so many weird things, guys. So like I said, there's so much that goes into all of this, but there was a lot of people that came together and worked together, I know that for a fact, to make sure that I was very stagnant, didn't have money, and this and that. That's all about to change. You know, I'm really happy about that, but damn, I did not, Spirit was really loaded on me today, like, here you go, this is what's going on. I'm like, holy fuck. And again, a lot of that I have backed up, though, with facts, so it's not like I'm just, like, hearing things in my head or blah, 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 no. And it makes sense now. It makes sense.